recently took a motorcycle trip to the curvy roads of northern Arkansas. It was a great trip, but up until that point, I didn't realize how poor the front brakes were on my Vstrom. So I ordered a few parts to get me stopping a little easier. I got a set of 4 piston calipers and a master cylinder from a Honda CBR929. I also ordered some adapter brackets from SV Racing Parts to get them fitted to the bike. Alright guys, so you can see I've got one of the calipers torn down, all 4 pistons out. I tried to clean these up with some brake cleaner, but you can see there's still a lot of brake fluid on there, or a lot of brake dust, and the brake fluid that was in there was very milky. So I've got this one apart, all disassembled, and now I'm going to take the next one apart. And there we go. Ready to throw in the ultrasonic. So I'm going to set this, we'll try 10 minutes. You can see I'm up to 37 degrees. And here we go. And I was just going to run this as is, but I pulled this little elbow out of the master cylinder. And look at the bottom side of this. All like gunk in there. So that's just brake fluid that is kind of jellied up. And I don't know if you can see how milky that brake fluid is. So it's very important to pull stuff apart, make sure it's clean. So I'm going to run this through the ultrasonic one pass just to clean the internals. I got to make sure to pull the switch off the bottom just so it doesn't destroy the switch. But I'll get this all cleaned up too. Here is the original caliper. And here is what it's getting replaced with. So in order to do this swap, you can see the original caliper bolts here to these little lugs on the bottom of the fork tube. Well, these won't match, but SV Racing Parts makes a caliper adapter bracket. They make 2 different kinds. They make both for the Nissan and the Tokiko 4 piston calipers. You can see the instructions are pretty straightforward. The kit comes with 2 brackets like this. You can see it has SV Racing Parts logo or letters in there. 2 different size holes. You've got a 10mm hole, which will go up against the forks there. And you want the slope going down towards the rear with the 10mm holes on the fork legs. So the original caliper had a threaded steel backing plate behind here that's made onto the caliper. So this kit comes with that. It also comes with the appropriate bolts that thread into those, and then it comes with some bolts that will thread into the caliper. So they do recommend using red Loctite on these bolts that go through here, because this will get installed permanently onto the bike. And then anytime you need to do brake changes, you just remove the bolts from these 2 holes, pull the caliper off, change your pads, throw everything back together. So let's get to it. All right, so this is the stock Vstrom master cylinder. Now I'm changing this out as part of the swap because this master cylinder, if you look right here, you can see it says 5/8. So this has a 5/8 inch bore through the master cylinder. This is the CBR929 master cylinder. It's on here somewhere. And you can see right here, it's a 3/4 bore master cylinder. So we're going to push a little more fluid with this. Going to the 4 piston calipers, I've read that guys have done just fine. It's a definite improvement just going with the caliper upgrade. But I got the calipers and the master cylinder all together, and this was designed to work with these calipers, so I figure why not use this. So there's a couple issues with this upgrade, a couple things that you'll have to switch. So the first thing, on the stock master cylinder, it has a mirror mount. Well, luckily they're the same exact spacing, same bolt pattern, same bolt size. So the stock mirror mount, I've got it sitting over on the bike, will mount to this CBR929 master cylinder. The next thing is for the stock hand mount, or the stock handguard. So you can see the stock lever pivot bolt has the tall hex section on it, and it fits just right here on this little flat section. Well, you can see that this CBR master cylinder does not have a flat section. It's radiused or angular, or you've got, you know, a couple compound shapes in here. So what I did is I took this the stock hex, and I chucked this pivot bolt in my drill, and I just ran it on the grinder to shave down the bottom part of the hex so that it would fit down into this shouldered recess on this master cylinder. So the diameter, what I actually used to check the diameter to make sure I didn't make it too small, was just an 11 millimeter wrench. The stock pivot bolt for this CBR, an 11 millimeter wrench fit around that perfectly. So that's what I used as a gauge, and just turned it down, cleaned it up a little bit with a file just to make it a little smoother. And I still have the hex on the top so I can tighten it down. It's threaded inside, and so it makes it the perfect spacing for the stock handguard. So you can see I got the handguard mounted just temporarily on there. The lever has plenty of room inside to move. So reusing stock hardware on the CBR master cylinder. One other thing you will have to change is the brake switch. So this is the brake switch that comes with the CBR929 master cylinder. And while this would work, if the wires that hook to these terminals were individual, they're not. They're made into a molded connector, and you can see the spacing difference. So the stock Vstrom brake switch bolts right up to the bottom of the master cylinder. The wire spacing is a little different, so I just swapped them over. It's still, you can hear, it's still releasing the switch. The factory connector will plug right on there. Good to go. So the last issue is this master cylinder has a brake fluid reservoir built on. This one, as most sport bikes, has an external reservoir. So you'll need to either buy an external reservoir. It has a little bracket that normally mounts here. But what I'm going to do, and what I've done on other bikes in the past, and I've had no issues with it, is I've got a piece of vinyl tubing. Now, vinyl will break down over time, but you can get Tygon tubing, which is chemical resistant and will last much longer. But what I'm going to do is, you can see right now, this is about a foot long piece of tube. I will use this for bleeding as a large reservoir. And once I get the brakes bled out, I'll bleed the brake fluid level down in this hose where it's, you know, about that high or so. And then I'll clip the hose right here. And then I've got a stainless steel bolt that I'm going to cut the threads off and round the corners of the bolt head off and just use as a plug to plug the hose. So I'll go get this mounted up and show you what it looks like mounted. Okay, so you can see my master cylinder. I turned the little elbow on the master cylinder, so it's pointing towards the end of the handlebar. I've got a clear tube that runs up to a little funnel. That is my reservoir for the moment. If we look down here at the caliper, you can see I've got a little wrench there on my bleeder. I've got bleeders on both sides open, and so I'm just letting gravity do the work right now. So I'll get you in here closer. Now I should be, you can just start seeing a bubble forming here. So fluid is moving down. And basically as soon as fluid gets down to the bottom and starts coming out of my bleeders, I'll know that my calipers are full, my brake lines are full, all the way up to my master cylinder is full. And then I can do a final bleed. I did add some safety wire here to as a clamp. I've also got some up here on this little bolt This started out as a stainless bolt. I just cut the threads off. I cut a little groove just so my safety wire would grab on good. And then I turned the head down. I just checked the bolt up into my drill, ran it against the grinder, kind of like I did for the pivot bolt here. And you can see I've got plenty of reservoir there. You can see it moving when I apply the brakes. And that's not coming off there. There's a little bit of flex. And I need to clean around that because I had a little leak earlier before I added the safety wire. But yeah, should be good for a long, long while. All right, guys, so I'm super happy with this upgrade. These calipers, awesome. Of course, I did also install the master cylinder from this CBR929, but if you have a Vstrom and you're not happy with the braking performance, definitely hit up eBay or Craigslist, try to find some used calipers, 4-piston calipers from either a CBR or a GSXR. I happen to get these calipers and the master cylinder and some stainless lines from a CBR929, and they work wonderfully. They did come in really grungy, as you saw earlier. Had to clean them up, do a little bit of prep work before this install, but for $35 for 2 calipers and a master cylinder, and then $85 for the adapter brackets, super cheap upgrade, and I'm really, really happy with it. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below in the comments section. If you like what I do, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.